I'm James Van Auken, the Vice President of Academic Affairs at Atlantic University, and today I am very pleased to be sitting here with author Bunny Paine-Clemes, who's also a AU faculty member, here today to talk about her brand new book, Creative Synergy, Using Art, Science, and Philosophy to Self-Actualize Your Life. Welcome, Bunny.
Thank you, James. It's an honor to have my boss serving me.
Well, it's nice to be here with you. So about this book, let's just begin at the very beginning with creativity itself. What is creativity?
Well, that's the basic question, James, and I'm so glad you asked me. The usual definition that you will find is it's the creation of something new and useful. We can think of material objects, mechanical objects like the fax machine or like this wonderful recording machine. But it's more than that. It's the bringing forth of beauty as well. Beauty is useful. Cayce says it uplifts us spiritually. And in many of his readings, he tells people to cultivate beauty. That is their mission in life. However, my favorite definition of creativity is that we are one with the divine, with the creative forces. We bring the creative forces to earth. I have a Cayce reading here, 20791. An entity or a soul is a spark or a portion of the whole, the first cause. Think about that for a moment. We are part of the creative first cause. We are a companion to that creative first cause. We are connected with Divine Mother, Divine Father, the unified field, the ground of all being. And that infinite intelligence depends upon us to bring forth what it wants to happen on earth. And here's the second half of the reading. And thus, the entity is a co-worker with the first cause or purpose, which is the creative influence or force that is manifested in materiality. So we have a job to do. Whatever our field of endeavor, whether it is parenting, counseling youth, creating a beautiful garden, bringing forth gorgeous music, cooking a delicious, wonderful meal full of high vibrations, it is our function to bring that spirit into materiality. And that, to me, is what creativity really is.
Now, what about this element that your book is titled? What about creative synergy? What is that?
The first part of my book talks about the connection between the individual and the divine ground, which is actually what I had in mind when I thought I wanted to write Creative Synergy. But I spent a month in the beginning and then many months after doing research, and I found it's not just about the individual and the divine ground. It takes in the first quadrant of Wilbur, which is the I. We have to make ourselves a better vessel to receive. We have to become as high in purpose and intent and ideal as we can possibly be. We have to work on our conscious mind, our unconscious mind, bring together our unconscious resistance into our conscious ideal and manifest them. So that's quadrant one, the I. Quadrant two is the we. It is partners working together, like Lennon and McCartney. Or it's a whole group working together, like the Beatles. And they may not have known it at the time. Maybe George Harrison figured it out. But their purpose was to unite people, especially people in the East and West, and create a larger community, a larger group. And they did this partially by going to India. The A.R.E. has the smaller groups and the study groups. And then it has the larger membership group, which is all over the world. So groups are important, quadrant two. Quadrant 3 is the thing itself. That's the product. What kind of product are you manifesting? On one level, as spiritual people, we have to talk about what we're bringing forth. Are we bringing forth another slasher film? Or are we bringing forth something beautiful into the world, like Swami Kriyananda's music? Swami Kriyananda is my spiritual teacher. Yogananda is my guru. And so that quadrant has to do with looking at what we're bringing forth, organized by the arts, the sciences, engineering, and so forth. And in creative synergy, I talk about toxic systems versus systems that nurture creativity. And when I talk to groups, like my undergraduates, I say, how many have been in a toxic system? Unfortunately, many hands go up. But then I say, how many have been in a nurturing system? And many other hands go up. So you need to find a nurturing system like Atlantic University or A.R.E. to have your career in, or if you're in a toxic system, you need to ask, Lord, what would you have me do? Would you have me recreate this system in some way and make it less toxic? Or would you have me bless it and ask to be released to a better organization? So that is how we work with the 4 quadrants, or how I present it in my book.
What blocks us from the expression of our creativity?
Ego and fear, and they're interrelated. Swami Kriyananda said that the very thought, I am painting this tree, is a block for any creative flow that comes through us. Creative flow, being in the zone. You may have heard of the flow state. So I am doing this, then your angels, your guides, your creative channels say, I can't work with that. Go ahead and do it by yourself if you want to. And then if the ego does get in the way, sometimes you put yourself forward and you become very fearful. With a lot of my students, they can create beautiful things, they know how to access the flow state, but they are afraid of putting themselves on the stage, marketing the book, going to the art gallery with the picture. And if that's part of your mission in life, then you need to learn to get out of the way of the fear. And I think we have to say a little more about ego too, don't we?
Sure.
Ego can also be positive. If you don't have the self-confidence to receive something, if you don't have the self-confidence to do an interview for YouTube, or to do a book signing, or to go with your jewelry to the craft show, you're not going to be manifesting your purpose if part of your purpose is to take your work to the world.
Now, what could all of us do? What could we do to become more creative?
The most important thing from Robert Sternberg, who is a creativity expert at Yale, make the decision. Make the decision to be creative. Duh, as my undergrads would say. We don't do that a lot of the time. We say, okay, I've got to write a paper. What's the formula I usually use? We don't think to ask, what's the perfect form for this paper? What's a more organic form? We're afraid to try to be creative. My undergrads come in and say, I'm not creative. And I say, we don't say that in this class. We say we make the decision. And all of us can be creative in any field we're in, whether it's gardening, cooking, childcare, whatever. So make the decision. In the last part of my book, I have 20 tips. I believe they're also on my website. And another important, absolutely crucial point is meditation. If you do not meditate, you are not in a state to receive the highest inspiration, receive, as Swami Kriyananda says, what's trying to happen through me. Now, there are other things you can do. You can keep a journal. You can work with a creative partner. You can join an organization. that helps to facilitate your creativity. You can create a creative study group or a creative critique group if you're a writer. You can get somebody to help you with, look at your paintings and judge them and see how they're doing. So there are lots of ways that you can facilitate your creativity. The important thing is to make that decision.
Wonderful. It's an excellent book.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed looking at it.
Thank you.
And I thank you very much for
Thank
being
you.
here today to talk with us all.